The Jewish Museum in Berlin ensures that Germans can never forget the slaughter of the innocents. The hundreds of thousands of German Jews and the millions of other European Jews murdered during World War II in the name of ethnic purity.
Auschwitz, this is a German invention, and this is a German responsibility independent of the generations. The murders are guilty. The kids and the grandkids are responsible not for the past, but for learning from the past that the past will never have a chance anymore in the present or future times.
Another symbol of modern Germany is the national parliament, the Reichstag, torched by Hitler in the 30s, rebuilt in the 90s to signal Germany's reunification and re-emergence as a world power. Since the Red Army smashed its way into Berlin and the Reichstag in 1945, generations of Germans have struggled to come to terms with the atrocities committed by the Nazis. Yet despite decades of national soul-searching, anti-Semitism seems on the rise again. The ghosts of Germany's past intend to haunt it still. Young Germans queue to go through the Reichstag. Virtually all of them have a link with the horrors of the 1930s and 40s. Their grandparents or the grandparents of friends. Somebody they know or knew was there. It's not easy for them. Tim Sanders' grandfather was in Russia, both as invading soldier and prisoner.
I know that they did cruel things before and after, but I don't know what. And I don't really want to ask him because I mean sometimes we talk about it, but it is hard to get deep into it because I don't want to hurt him. You know.
Tim Sander is a student, and so is Tobias Reckling. Caroline Spill is a makeup artist in the film industry, and Nadia Corinth is a student and translator.
People wanted to become a matter of history books, and I think the slightly dangerous thing about this is that you might just do that without having found the roots of why it started.
This is no dry academic debate. Right-wingers and skinheads have attacked Jewish synagogues right across Europe in recent years. Current tensions in the Middle East mean more German police on duty here in Berlin.
Anti-Semitism is not a German invention. Anti-Semitism existed before Germany. And I know that this is a catastrophe, but as racists will exist also in hundreds of years.
National elections are approaching, and the Conservative Free Democrats aspire to a fifth of the vote. FDP Vice President Jurgen Mollemann attracted attention early in the campaign by condemning Israeli military incursions in the occupied territories ordered by Prime Minister Ariel Sharon.
I think his behavior, his political approach is absolutely unacceptable. It's producing the risk of a war in the Middle East. He's refusing nearly each and every decision of the United Nations Security Council and violating the basic rights of the Palestinian people.
But Mollemann went further, claiming controversially that Sharon's actions fueled anti-Semitism, as did the statements of leaders of Germany's Jewish Council.
This vice president of the party, and he is the vice president of the party, said in TV that anti-Semitism is due because of Sharon's policy and the arrogant representation of the vice president of the Jewish communities in Germany, Michel Friedman, that means myself.
History is part and parcel of Michel Friedman's makeup. As well as being the vice president of Germany's Council of Jewish Communities, he's a member of the main Conservative Party, the Christian Democrats, a doctor of medicine, a lawyer, and the host of 2 television shows. Coincidentally, on this occasion, Ariel Sharon was his guest.
He obviously tries to keep the public interest away from Sharon's policy and to arise and to intensify an internal national debate on our history, on our behavior towards the Jewish community.
Here we were deeply in an anti-Semitic debate at his best, because saying that, you are back 100 years and 100 years saying the Jews are responsible that you don't love the Jews. And as long the Jews behave as we want them to behave, we like them, and if they don't behave as we like them to behave, then don't be surprised that we hate them or we kill them even.
These accusations are ridiculous and arrogant and unacceptable. My political career now is going on since 30 years, and never ever before somebody accused me to take an anti-Semite approach. Never.
Dr. Annette Vott, an authority on German Jewish affairs, is walking in the square where the Nazis burned all literature unacceptable to the party.
It could be possible that Mollemann was going forward to make a test. What you could say now in Germany after 50, 60 years after Nazi regime and what not.
Some young Germans, though, feel the anti-Semitic tag can be too readily applied.
There are plans in the Knesset that say non-Jewish persons are not allowed anymore to buy land within Jewish communities. This is racist. But when I say this is racist, am I anti-Semitist?
I think that's the point. I think there are many voices against Israel and Israel politics, but not against the fact that these people who live there are Jewish or something else. It's just against their politics, against Sharon and what he does.
The debate is hot in Berlin, but is it playing outside the capital? This is Überlingen, near the Swiss border. It's a spa town where people come to sail, walk, relax and unwind. It's one of the loveliest parts of Germany. But even here, it seems, there is a shadow of Germany's Nazi past, of Adolf Hitler, of the camps, and particularly the deliberate extermination of the Jews, the Holocaust. We've come to Überlingen to meet Martin Bolsa. The distinguished author claims the friendship of important German writers and intellectuals. Now, though, Bolsa is being pilloried for his depiction of a Jewish character in his latest novel, and he's been called an anti-Semite because of it.
You must know, or you probably know, that the reproach to be anti-Semitic in Germany is the most serious reproach.
Bolsa believes there's too much emphasis on the obscenities of Nazi racial policies of the 1930s and 40s. These are horrors we all recognise because the Nazis, as historian William Shire commented, took pictures like tourists in hell.
I feel that they abuse German past as a subject in television shows. They do more than they should. I have to turn my face off the screen if they again Auschwitz. I can't stand it. The repetition of these terrific scenes of Auschwitz. There will be no chance, no possibility. Nothing is that impossible as a new Auschwitz.
Michelle Friedman's perspective, though, is that Germans should never be allowed to forget.
"48 people of my family died because of the lie of individuals to say we can't do anything. 3 survived, my late grandmother and my parents, because somebody proved that this sentence is a lie. Every human being can change the world, and this was Oskar Schindler. He put my parents on the list.
Martin Bolsa has lost his American publisher, his own publisher has turned on him, and his new novel, unlike previous works, will not be serialised in prestigious German broadsheets.
That means that if you quote the German past, something out of the German past, then you can resign on every further argument. It's enough. It's a catch. It's not necessary to prove what you are saying. The catch itself does everything.
What he did was expressing a way of feeling about German history which many old people feel. And he, in a way, he said, I can't stand being confronted with pictures of Auschwitz anymore. And he didn't even explain it, he just said, it's a feeling, I can't stand it as a feeling, it makes me feel bad.
The question, though, is whether what happened during the Second World War should inhibit all discussions about Jews. Mollemann's views on Israel struck a chord.
After this debate started, I got 44,000 letters, faxes, emails within 1 month from all over Germany, each of those letters. Thank you for talking so frankly about the Israeli policy. It has been necessary, and we Germans must be allowed to discuss it frankly. Please go on, be courageous.
We are able to debate everything, but to compare Israel's policy with the Nazi policy is not a debate. I got hundreds and hundreds of letters of hate, telephone calls, letters of violence, letters of promising me my death. This is for an individual which family was killed in the Holocaust. An experience in the year 2002, which is certainly a difficult one.
I think it's a really, really bad war.
These students have their lives in front of them. They're like most young students in Western societies, confident, idealistic, but in their case, a little
When you are
inhibited by their history.
Let's say, when you are talking about a Turkish person that treated you bad, you have to take care about how you say it and to who you talk about it, because you might be accused to be a racist, and people start saying like, oh, this happened 50 years ago already or 60 years ago, and it's happening again. I mean, you know, I wasn't born then, so what? And this has to be stopped.
It is there always, and in school you talk about it, and there is something underneath always, but it's not on top.
They still have to learn about the history at school, but they have to know that they are not guilty. I don't want to be treated as I was guilty.
The younger generation is not guilty. They become guilty when they don't want to know the history. When they are thinking we are looking only forward, because then they are not careful enough. They have to know about their history, but they are not guilty, of course not.
The events of the 1930s and 40s will eventually recede from the forefront of people's minds, but they'll never go away. That history is a burden on both Jew and German, but it's a burden Michel Friedman accepts. This Jewish doctor, lawyer and politician believes in his country. He believes in Germany and his future there.
Germany has 100,000 Jews who are giving in confidence their existence and their future in this country. Only 57 years after the Holocaust, we are the third biggest West European Jewish community after France and Great Britain again. Germany is respected and accepted. If this is a burden, I like this burden.